South Africa is one of the most culturally rich nations on the planet. Beneath its modern cities and sprawling landscapes lies a world that has existed for thousands of years. A world shaped by ancient traditions, deep spiritual beliefs, and survival strategies passed down through generations. The country is home to more than 11 official languages and dozens of distinct ethnic groups, each carrying their own identity, their own customs, and their own way of navigating life. To understand South Africa is to understand its people, not just as a collective, but as individual communities with stories that stretch back centuries. From the arid Karoo to the lush valleys of KwaZulu-Natal, from the coastal shores of the Eastern Cape to the dry plains of Limpopo, every region tells a different story. These are not relics of the past. These are living, breathing cultures that continue to evolve while holding tightly to what makes them unique. The Zulu, the Xhosa, the Ndebele, the Sotho, the Venda, the Tsonga, and the San people, among many others, each represent a thread in the extraordinary tapestry that makes South Africa unlike anywhere else in the world. What follows is a journey into the heart of these communities, exploring how they survive, how they celebrate, and how they keep their traditions alive in a rapidly changing world. The Zulu people are the largest ethnic group in South Africa, with a population of over 11 million people, primarily concentrated in the KwaZulu-Natal province. Their name translates to people of heaven, and their culture reflects a deep connection to both the earth and the spiritual world. Historically, the Zulu were fierce warriors under the leadership of King Shaka Zulu in the early 1800s, building one of the most powerful kingdoms in African history. Today, that warrior spirit lives on in their ceremonies, their music, and their daily way of life. Survival for the Zulu has always been rooted in agriculture and cattle herding. Cattle are not merely livestock, they are a symbol of wealth, social status, and spiritual connection. They are used in lobola, the traditional practice of paying bride price to a woman's family before marriage, and they are central to ancestral ceremonies known as ukubuyisa, which honor the spirits of those who have passed. The Zulu grow crops such as maize, sorghum, and beans, and many communities still rely on these staples for daily sustenance. Traditional Zulu homesteads called umuzi are circular in design, with beehive-shaped huts made from grass and wood surrounding a central cattle enclosure. The reed dance, known as Umkhosi Womhlanga, is one of the most iconic Zulu ceremonies, where thousands of young women gather annually to present reeds to the king, celebrating purity and cultural pride. Zulu beadwork is another powerful form of cultural expression, with each color and pattern carrying specific messages about identity, love, and social standing. The Xhosa people, predominantly found in the Eastern Cape province, are perhaps best known internationally as the cultural home of Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu. Their language, isiXhosa, is famous for its distinctive click consonants, making it one of the most unique languages in the world. But beyond language, the Xhosa are defined by a profound culture of community, storytelling, and rites of passage. The most significant of these is the Ulwaluko initiation ceremony for young men, which marks the transition from boyhood to manhood. During this period, young men, known as abakwetha, retreat into the bush for several weeks, wearing white clay on their bodies and learning the responsibilities of adult life. This is not merely a cultural tradition, it is a survival rite that teaches discipline, endurance, and respect for community values. The Xhosa are traditionally agro-pastoralists, meaning they combine crop farming with livestock herding. Maize, sorghum, and vegetables form the backbone of their diet, while cattle and goats serve both economic and ceremonial purposes. Traditional Xhosa homes, called rondavels, are round structures with thatched roofs, often painted in bright colors to reflect family identity. Women play a central role in Xhosa society, managing the household, raising children, and preserving cultural knowledge through oral tradition. Xhosa women are also known for their striking traditional attire, which includes intricately wrapped turbans, beaded necklaces, and blankets dyed in rich ochre tones. If there is one tribe in South Africa whose culture is immediately recognizable by sight, it is the Ndebele. Living primarily in the Mpumalanga and Limpopo provinces, the Ndebele people have become world famous for their extraordinary tradition of painting their homes in bold geometric patterns using vivid colors: black, white, red, yellow, and green. This art form, practiced almost exclusively by women, is not simply decorative. It is a language in itself, communicating social status, family identity, and cultural pride. Young Ndebele girls learn to paint from their mothers and grandmothers, and the skill is considered an essential part of womanhood. The Ndebele also practice a male initiation ceremony called wela, similar in purpose to the Xhosa ulwaluko, where young men undergo a period of isolation and instruction before being welcomed into adulthood. Survival for the Ndebele has historically involved farming, trading, and craftsmanship. Their beadwork is extraordinarily detailed, and Ndebele women traditionally wear stacked rings of copper and brass around their necks, arms, and legs as symbols of beauty and marital status. These rings, called idzila, are worn with immense pride and are considered inseparable from a woman's identity. Despite facing significant historical displacement and land dispossession, the Ndebele have maintained their cultural practices with remarkable determination, using art as both a means of survival and a declaration of existence. The San people, also known as Bushmen, are considered the oldest indigenous inhabitants of southern Africa, with a history stretching back over 70,000 years. Traditionally hunter-gatherers, the San developed an extraordinary relationship with the natural world that allowed them to survive in some of the harshest environments on Earth, including the Kalahari Desert. Their knowledge of plants, animals, weather patterns, and terrain is unmatched, representing thousands of years of accumulated wisdom passed down through oral tradition and practice. San hunters use bows and arrows tipped with poison derived from plants and insects to hunt game, while women gather roots, berries, tubers, and wild fruits to supplement the diet. Water is found by digging into dry riverbeds or extracting moisture from specific plants, a skill that requires deep environmental knowledge. The San communicate through a complex system of click languages and express their spiritual beliefs through rock art, some of which dates back tens of thousands of years. These paintings, found across caves and rock faces throughout southern Africa, depict animals, hunting scenes, and spiritual visions experienced during trance dances. The trance dance, or healing dance, is central to San's spiritual life, where healers enter altered states of consciousness to communicate with the spirit world and heal the sick. Today, many San communities face the challenge of preserving their way of life against the pressures of modernization, land loss, and marginalization, yet their cultural knowledge remains one of humanity's most precious inheritances. In the northernmost reaches of South Africa, nestled in the Limpopo province, the Venda and Tsonga people have built cultures deeply intertwined with the natural world. The Venda, known as the people of the mountains, hold a sacred reverence for water, believing that lakes and rivers are inhabited by powerful spirits. Lake Fundudzi, a sacred lake in the Soutpansberg Mountains, is considered one of the holiest sites in Venda culture, and access to it is strictly controlled by traditional authorities. The Domba ceremony, a python dance performed by young Venda women as part of their initiation into womanhood, is one of the most visually stunning cultural rituals in all of Africa. Participants form a long chain, moving in a slow, undulating rhythm that mimics the movement of a python, symbolizing fertility and the continuity of life. The Venda are also celebrated for their wood carving, pottery, and the mbila, a traditional musical instrument similar to a xylophone which holds deep ceremonial significance. The Tsonga people, meanwhile, are known across South Africa for their vibrant music and dance, particularly the Zibelani dance, where women wear thick, colourful skirts that spin dramatically as they move. The Tsonga are traditionally farmers and traders, cultivating crops and engaging in commerce along ancient trade routes. Their oral traditions, proverbs, and storytelling practices serve as the primary vehicle for passing cultural knowledge between generations, ensuring that even as the world changes, the essence of who they are remains firmly rooted in the wisdom of their ancestors.